Ladies and gentlemen, we've got one of these for you. It's spicy story time.
Could actually be spicy?
Title of this one is Exposing My Boyfriend of 5 years After I Found Out He Was Selling Pictures of My Armpits and More.
What?
Drama mode activated. I am kind of genuinely mortified, disgusted, and confused over what's happened to me the past month. Fake names and Reddit account because my boyfriend's friends use Reddit. I, 32 female, have been with my boyfriend, David, for 5 years. During those 5 years, I rebuilt my mental health after a horrible relationship in my early 20s, and I was really able to build up my confidence and create a safe, happy life after I met David. He was super funny, charming, and sweet. Like he came in and checked all the boxes that my previous relationship neglected to. And his friend group was super nice and welcoming, so I felt at home. I moved in with David officially a few years ago. We've been on vacations together. I know his whole family, his friends. We've even been talking about getting engaged soon. The possibility of kids. Everything seemed to be going great. I finally felt comfortable and happy, which is a big deal for me. Until I found these messages on David's phone with his best friend calling him Ethan. We were getting ready to go to his friend's cookout and David was showering. And I know I shouldn't snoop, but I saw these messages about getting pics and I got curious. David and Ethan used to get super drunk and party pretty hard back in their college days, so I know they can get into trouble. But I've also met Ethan and their entire friend group. They all seemed like nice enough guys, and I had met their girlfriends who had come and went. I always ended up being the only one that stuck around. When I opened David's phone, there were a lot of cleared messages with only 1 or 2 texts. But there was this one text convo between David and Ethan. Ethan, I'm chipping $20 in. Michael said he'd pay the extra $50 on top of it if he gets some laundry. David, I've got a few stacks of pics in Ziplocs. I'll drop them by soon. Laundry is a big one. Tell Michael a hundo. Ethan, Michael says a hundo for a pair of socks. David, deal, but 100 on top of the 20 for the armpit prints. Bring them tonight. Ethan, any used razors or anything that smells good? David, not yet. Been watching for anything. I'll bring a bigger haul next time. Ethan, bet. I can't wait for those pics.
Oh my gosh, what?
I half expected to see a David. She just flushed. I'm sorry I couldn't grab it in time.
Oh my.
At this point, I was super confused and scared. I thought they might be trading pics of models or something stupid, so I went to go look through David's bag, and inside a black leather man pouch, I found a small Ziploc with these photos wrapped in rubber bands. Stacks of printouts of pictures of armpits. Of my armpits. There were tissues in the bag, Q-tips, fingernail clippings, what looked like some wadded up used tissue, one of my tampons I threw in the trash, and yes, a dirty pair of socks, my socks, wadded into a ball. There was wads of 20s in there too, at least a few hundred. No, I didn't take the money. I was terrified. I texted my best friend Layla about how freaked out I was and sent some pics, and she told me to try and get as much info as possible at the cookout before making a giant mess of things, and to keep her updated in case she needed to beat some ass. So I grabbed a couple of the pics and shoved them into my jacket. After David got out of the shower, he could tell I was acting weird, but I told him I was just having stomach issues, which is fairly normal, and he didn't suspect anything. We went to Ethan's cookout, and everything went like usual. There were a bunch of his buddies there, some brought their girlfriends. We usually did these events once or twice a month, so I had no idea how long David, the man I love and imagined spending my entire life with, has been selling pics and pieces of my trash to make a quick buck. I had no idea how far this stretched, or how long it had been happening. Has my entire social circle been built upon me being a market for some creeps to get paraphernalia? I was mortified. Not only that, but this entire social circle, these men, children, that I have spent the better part of 5 years around have been buying pictures of my armpits and God knows what else. I feel violated and terrified. This is the craziest thing that has ever happened to me, but I just had to make it through the night like normal. The cookout went on like normal until David excused himself to go to the bathroom because he was feeling sick. And I noticed Ethan and a few of their other friends head upstairs a couple minutes later, while they left the girlfriends downstairs to have girl time. So as soon as I saw an opening, I introduced myself to the girls and I told them everything. I told them that there's a good chance that they're up there right now being creepy as hell buying armpit pictures, Q-tips, and tampons. I pulled the pics I had swiped from David's stash and showed the girls my award-winning armpit Polaroids. They were baffled and wanted to call the cops pretty much immediately, but we decided we needed to confront them about it. So we all barged upstairs, walking into Ethan's room at once, where they were all congregating. David was in the room with the boys, not in the bathroom, looking fine. I asked, "What are you doing up here? Thought you were having stomach problems." He shrugged and said, "Talking to the boys now?" All of them looked like deer in the headlights. I saw a small bag in Ethan's hand and asked what was in it. He said, "Oh, just some random trash and stuff." I dropped the folded pics of my own armpits onto the floor and asked, "How's tonight's haul going, David?"
Yes.
David went paper white in the face, and so did his friends. Ethan told us all to get out and said he had no idea what I was talking about. I asked him, "Oh, so you're not trying to buy my used razors and socks?" They were all speechless. The girls were getting into shouting matches with their boyfriends. David stumbled around until he came up with, "I was just trying to make some money to support you and for our future, and you don't understand and you don't even care about the stuff, so how is it affecting you?" And a load of horseshit like that. I told David we were breaking up, and he's lucky if I don't press charges on all of them. It turned into a household screaming match, and I ended up leaving with the other girls to go get a drink. I told David to stay at his friend's house because I'm packing. So it's been a crazy few weeks for me, Reddit. David has been messaging me on and off, telling me he's sorry and he loves me, telling me it wasn't his fault and his friends convinced him, and then telling me it's all my fault again. It's hard, but I've mostly just ignored him. I also stayed in contact with a couple of the girls from that night who helped me out. I haven't gone to the police yet, but I'm considering it soon. David's terrified, we're broken up, and I'm staying with Layla, my bestie, for the time being. For now, I'm happy to get away from those freaks, but pretty messed up about the whole situation. I don't understand how long this has been going on. If I found out anything else, I may update, but I just want this all to be over. I don't know if I was in the wrong for the way I exposed them all. I feel sick to my stomach about the situation with David, but I know I can never trust him again now. There's an update.
I gotta get a drink. This is a lot.
Just wanted to let those of you who are kind know that me and the other girls and my bestie Layla, found out that they've been selling used tissues, tampons, and pads from us to each other for years. But I was the one-stop shop for their friend group. It's some kind of kink. They all get themselves off to our trash, especially mine, like trading cards. I didn't see it, but one of the guys implied he'd been buying my hair. Yeah. And according to David, he did it for a profit, and not for any weird reason, saying that he's not into this stuff himself, asking me to take him back, telling me I'm beautiful, etc. But I told him I'm still never going to be able to trust him again, and that I felt extremely violated and uncomfortable. So far, no police, and I've just kept my distance. Don't know how much legal standing I have for armpit pics. I misspoke, they're not Polaroids, they're printout copies of pics of my armpits taken when I was asleep or from behind me just zoomed in. Cropped pics of my armpit. No feet, no butt, just armpits. From what I've seen so far, at least. And again, why? Yes, I've known and met his friends multiple times over the past 5 years, but like I said, they were always single or had short-term relationships, so I didn't have good relationships with any of the girls at first. Yes, his parents are aware of the situation. From what I've heard, his parents are extremely embarrassed by his actions. To everyone confused about all of this, yeah, me too. I'm devastated and back to square one over something so strange. I have a lot of feelings that I haven't felt in years creeping back up, and I'm feeling the urge to get back at David. I just don't know how. I can't stop thinking about him. I've spoken to him several times over the past couple of days after ignoring him for weeks, but seeing all of these comments is bringing up some unresolved feelings and major stress triggers for me. And because he was my comfort person, I still want to go cuddle up next to him and watch a movie.
While he's snapping pics of your armpit.
But instead, I'm just going to focus on revenge. Selling his search history on eBay or something. I'll figure it out. The other girls are planning something to get at Ethan, the big spender apparently, and one of the other girls' now ex-boyfriend. So I'll update if anything happens. For now, I'm a mess, and I both equally despise and miss David for some reason. And there's the actual end.
Yikes.
You can't take this boy back. You're right, you would never be able to trust him again, and I understand that he's your comfort person, but all of that comfort that you felt was a lie. You have to realize that. Everything you felt was a lie because he was deceiving you the entire time. You know what I think would be hilarious? Like you said, all these other guys had trouble keeping girlfriends. They'd have them for short term, but once they finally found one that they stuck with for a longer period of time, I wonder how similar that girl's armpits were to yours. Hop on up. Caden Thunder's jumping in with some feedback here. Get some feedback.
I don't have much to say, but it was on AITA, WIBTA.
Just looking at your pits,
Oh,
Seeing if they're worthy. I don't know.
My money makers.
Where does one sell armpit pictures?
yeah.
I needs to know.
I don't know. The Reddit comments were pretty much a rotation of you need to call the police. You should have sold the pictures yourself. And where can I sell these pictures? So Reddit's pretty much just interested in finding out where we can all sell armpit pictures because
There's an armpit Reddit.
there's an armpit subreddit.
So there's
Okay, 16,000 members. Armpit Reddit.
/ armpit fantasy has 13,000 members.
Wow, there's an armpit. There's multiple armpit
there's
subreddits.
NSFW ones too.
There's NSFW armpits. I don't know where this is going. I'm just updating you as we go.
Okay, so these are all just pictures of like they're like clothed. And
Fully
it's just, like, their
clothed
arms up in the air.
armpits. Just a-
Get off of it!
this is your work computer. Well,
Oh God, Caden. Fine.
I'm stumbled upon some sort of armpit. I don't know what I've done.
I'm buying the domain pitsofdespair.com.
What have
We'll
I
have a
done?
site launched by 4 p.m.
I did not.
It's already 4:25. Tomorrow.
This is what happens when you pick a story on Reddit. Your whole office looks at pictures of armpits.
At least it's not poop Reddit.
That's true. We've been there too.
I
On that note,
Can't even talk about it.
goodbye.
Caden Thunder, ladies and gentlemen.